Hello again and welcome back. In this lesson, we will talk about web technologies. So we will diving into the huge things about world of the web technology. We will talk about some protocols, some IP addresses, some devices, and how the network in general work. We will focus on www, which is the World Wide Web, and we will talk about everything on the internet, from how the internet works to social media, online communication, and modern mobile application. You will get a complete overview of how we connect, how we share, and how we learn online. This lesson will be 28, around 28 titles, depend on the updates. If you want to go to take the lesson, you will go mainly on different things about the internet. The first one is called the ARPANET, where the ARPANET is the first network or the first internet all over the world. ARPANET is the first internet which was produced in 1969 by the US Department of Defense, and they use it for research purposes. After that, it's become wider and wider, so it was just a network or an internet that connect the east and the west part of the United States, and all of this was under the control of US Department of Defense. After that, they start connecting some universities to do some research, and it's become wider and wider. All of those years, from 1969 to 1987, there were no viruses, no firewalls, no antiviruses or any kind of protection. The first virus was in 1987, Maury's malware, and that one was the first virus in the internet. So after that, they start producing or finding of firewalls or any kind of protection. In this image, they show you two numbers, the first one and the second one. Both of them are IP addresses. But the first one is IP address version 4, where the second one is IP address version 6. Now, what's the difference between them? Both of them are the same. Both of them is IP addresses, and they use it to connect to the internet. But we start using IP version 4 from the beginning of the internet until like 10 years ago. 10 years ago, IP address version 4 still start to be like running out. We don't have any more numbers for people. Because of that, they create IP version 6, which is bigger and have more and more people. Okay, because of that, if you check your device, you will find that you have two of them, IP version 4 and 6. Why? Because we are in the middle of between people who use just IP version 4 and people who use just IP version 6, and we are between both of them, so our device should connect to both worlds. How can I check my IP version IP number? You can go to run, and from run, you can type CMD. Okay, where CMD is the command prompt, or directly from start, just type CMD, which is the command prompt. So the command prompt is the place where you can check your IP address. This one is not in your lesson. This is an extra thing just to show you how to check your IP address. So if you type ipconfig, which means IP configuration, it will show you a lot of information about my device. Some of them is IP version 4 address. If I want to see more information, I type ipconfig again, and then space /all, which means show me all information. So it will show you more and more information, and some of them is something called physical address. Okay, physical address. Physical address is another address, but it's not IP, it's MAC, M-A-C, MAC address. MAC address is something that is, why they call it physical address? Because it's physically printed in your device, and you cannot change it. It's unique for any device on the world. Now, in the lesson, but I don't know where exactly, you will see something called an IC, where an IC is the network interface card. So if I go here and show you the NIC card, is the network interface card. I think you saw it before. It's the place where you put your internet cable to the device. So you put the internet cable from this place, and it's connected to a card inside your device, okay? So you put the cable here, but inside it's a card. In this card is the MAC address. So it's printed here, which means how police follow people on the internet. People, they think if they hide their IP address or change it, they will be hidden. No, you can hide the IP address version 4 and 6. You can change it. For example, download any uh, VM VPN, which is virtual private network application, and you can access like you access from Germany, but you are in US. Yes, can be happen for IP version 6 and 4, but for MAC address you cannot. MAC address is called the physical address, which means it's physically printed in your NIC. In case you want to hide it, you need to change the whole device. I mean the whole network interface card. Buy one and replace it, which is not easy also. So this is the difference between them. In case you saw them in your session, I don't know where you will saw them, but in general there is an IP version 4, IP version 6, and MAC address. Now, then they start talking about the web browsers, which is an application that we use to browse or to visit the internet, like Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Apple Safari. All of those are browsers that you use to access the internet. Then they start talking about the World Wide Web, which is www, where the World Wide Web is something that is have millions of websites, and each website have different web pages, and all of them are connected using hypertext transfer protocol, which is the HTTP. HTTP is the protocol that you use to connect to the internet. If you go to any website, look at this, HTTPS. Now, HTTP is the hypertext transfer protocol, where HTTPS is the hypertext transfer protocol secure. So any website that have more layers of security should use HTTPS. For example, if you go to Bank of America website, it should be HTTPS because you use it to put your credit card, your password, your information. Any website that have password or payment method or whatever should be S. Reynolds is S because Reynolds you access sometimes and you pay with your credit, or you pay for money, or you use username and password, right? Now, all of the websites were built by something called HTML, which is the hypertext markup language. And the hypertext markup language is the programming language that we use to build the websites. If I go to Reynolds, if you right-click anywhere, okay, and then go to View Page Source. View Page Source will show you the HTML code, how they build the website. Okay, if you go to the beginning, it starts with HTML, and if you go to the end, it's end with HTML. So HTML is the hypertext transfer, sorry, HTTP is the hypertext transfer protocol. HTML is the hypertext markup language. Thank you. The hypertext markup language, which we use it to program the website. The first programming language with website was HTML, but right now we have more. We have JavaScript, CSS, PHP, HTMX, MLX, which is the advanced. All of those, at the end, you have an URL, which is the Uniform Resource Locator, and the URL is the name of the website. Before, when we talk about ARPANET, which is one of the beginning of the internet, we don't have URL, we have numbers. Okay, we have numbers. But when the internet became bigger and bigger, we cannot remember the numbers for each website. It's exactly like the phone. I can remember my phone number, my father's phone number, my daughter's phone number, but I cannot remember everyone's phone number. Because of that, I save them with names. Here is the same. We save website with names, but in the other side there is numbers. For example, it's very easy for you to remember www.google.com, but it's hard to remember the IP or the number for Google. Every website have a number, and if you go to Google, for example, and just ask what is the IP address, okay, for google.com. So this is the IP address for google.com. It's very hard to remember, but it's very easy to say google.com. So this is the meaning of hypertext, of URL, which is Uniform Resource Locator. Any URL have different pieces. It starts with HTTP or HTTPS, which is the protocol, and then example.com, which is the domain, and something before example.com, it's the subdomain. So we have a domain, which is the main one, and we have sub one. For example, reynolds.edu is the main one, and library.reynolds.edu is the sub one, subdomain. Okay, here is the same. We have semnetonline.com, which is the main domain, and Reynolds is the sub of Semnet. So Reynolds student can access through reynolds.semnetonline.com. And then we have different backslash and backslash and backslash, which is here also. All of those, it's called the file path. Okay, so all of those are the path that I use to access something until we reach the last one, which is the page or the file that you are reading from. So this lesson will show you a lot of things. They will talk about social media, blogging, streaming, how to share media online, and a lot of things that you can use through the internet. Okay, one of those is the businesses on the internet. So you will see something called B2C, you will see C2C, and you will see also B2B, B2C, C2C, and B2B. Let's talk about them just before I finish, because I don't want to make it a very long video. B2C is a business to customer or business to consumer, like Amazon.com. So there is a businesses that they sell for you as a customer. C2C is customer to customer. It's exactly like Facebook Marketplace. I have an extra sofa and I put it on Facebook Marketplace. I'm a customer, and there is another customer who come to me. So it's customer to customer or consumer to consumer. The last one is B2B, where businesses sell to businesses only, not for customers. Like what? Like businesses who sell what is called, it says wholesale. So there is some businesses who sell something in wholesale, like dozens, and another businesses, they go to get it and sell it for customer. There is a lot of things that you will see here in this lesson, and something about the cables for the internet and for the networks in general. And this is a lot of things that you can see here about web technologies, networks, and a lot of things. Your professors will discuss this with you, and I want you, before you go to your lesson, just prepare, try to let me try in this lesson, do your discussion, do your quiz, and then that's it. Prepare yourself for the lesson, and thank you for listening. See you in the next